But the other thing is, values are super important on the individual level. It's like, as an individual, if you discover what your values are and you bring them more into your actions and interactions so they become virtues, character traits. And Angela Duckworth, who's the professor of psychology at Pennsylvania University, who wrote the book Grit, makes that clear distinction between character traits as virtues. So it's when you enact something. So she gives the example, you can value kindness, but not be very kind.
Yes.
But you can't have the character trait of kindness unless you actually perform actions with kindness in the world. So it's this distinction between values and virtues. But when you do that as an individual, it has a massive effect on your well-being. You flourish, you feel more happy, fulfilled and contented because you are being more authentic, you're being more true to yourself. And so it's a very easy intellectual leap to go from, well, I know my personal values are super important to me as a person, therefore our shared values as an organisation must be super important. And then we get into the whole shared values exercise.
Yeah.
And yet, if you look at the maths, like the idea that you would have 5 values in your organisation and that everybody in the organisation would share those values. University of Zurich did some research where they came up with what they regarded as the 19 cardinal values of human beings all around the world. So if there are 19 values and you've got to select people who have the same 5, when you do the maths, you realise that for each person you recruit, you have to do 11,600 interviews, because only 1 in 11,600 people will share the same 5 out of 19 values. And Richard Clayton, who you mentioned in the context of Drinking Dialogues, he found a company in America that reckons they got a list that you can download of 500 values. Well, if you pick 5 out of 500, then you'd have to do more interviews than all the people who have ever lived in the history of the human species. There's 1 in 255 billion people would have the same 5 values.
For?
I don't know, for selling a list of 500 values, probably.